In your own words, what is the mission of MCSA?
The mission of MCSA, the way, in my own words, the way I feel, is that our mission is to help people develop, get better, and move out of here. You know, MCSA provides three things. MCSA provides three things, basically. We provide relief, and those relief is for people that are in a short-term crisis, and we try to help them get back on their feet. For example, say the floodwaters washed over their house. Well, we give them a place to stay until they can get their house restored. Rehabilitation is basically restoring somebody to pre-crisis. If they need some help, you know, moving furniture and you know, getting building skills, then we offer those things to them. But primarily, what MCSA does is development. We want to see people who have a long-term generational issues with lack of living skills. There's a lot of people in town and a lot of people that live at MCSA that for one reason or other have never been taught some of the basic living skills that a lot of people take for granted. For example, somebody might not have ever learned how to apologize. Now, can you imagine going through your entire life without ever knowing how to apologize, you know, for something that you've done wrong because maybe you were taught that it makes you vulnerable, or maybe you were taught that it makes you weak somehow to apologize. Well, we all need to know how to apologize, and that's one of the basic skills. Or another basic living skills that a lot of people are struggling with here at MCSA is good attitude. You know, how important is it to have a good attitude? Is it more important to have a good attitude than it is good skills? I think most employers would agree that having good skills is secondary to having a good attitude. Somebody with poor skills and a good attitude is going to last a lot longer in a company than somebody with great skills and a poor attitude. If no one's ever taught you those things, how are you ever going to know that you need to know? And so that's part of the development that I think is probably our biggest mission at MCSA, is we really want to see people grow and change and get the skills they need in order to be able to succeed in life. Because every person that walks through the door, whether they live in our family shelter, in the emergency shelter, or upstairs, we're about helping them succeed. And that's the first question we ask them, is where do you want to be in a year, 3 years, 5 years? And then when they tell us, we'll say, our role, what we're going to do is help you get there. You know, you put in, I put in, we're teaming up, we're going to get you to where you want to be. And so that's basically what I think the mission of MCSA is.
Okay. What is MCSA biggest priority?
Right now, I think our biggest priority, we actually have two. One of our biggest priorities is to help people understand what MCSA does. You know, MCSA has been in town since 1991, and we've been around, gosh, what has it been, 20 years now? 20 years. I don't think people really understand what MCSA does. I think that some people know that we're a shelter, and we do that. We provide shelter for people. But I think what a lot of people don't know is that we are also a place for people to help grow and learn and change and make those basic changes that you need in order to be able to succeed in life. And so I think community awareness of what we're doing here. I think the community would become very aware if we were to shut the doors and we were to send 100 people out onto the street, and they were to sleep in your doorway, in your employer's doorway, around the community. I think the people would be very aware of what we do then. We would never want to have to do that. But I also wonder what would the crime rate be like in Muscatine if we were to turn 100 people out who now had a place to stay and no longer had a place to stay. And so, you know, a priority is the understanding of really the vital role that we play in Muscatine. We're not a flop house. You know, we are a transitional shelter. We provide shelter for some people that have disabilities or you know, compromised living skills. But more so, we are a place for people to learn and develop. And so that's the one thing that I think that, one priority I think that the community wears, that the community knows that. And then secondly, I think our second biggest priority is that people care about their community. That MCSA would like to move people toward caring for their community. You know, in big towns, there are so many social problems that they do little bits and pieces of different things, but nobody is really changing much in their communities. Here in Muscatine, we're a small community, and it's a community that cares. And so what is going to take to turn some of the things around in Muscatine is involvement of people. And I'm talking about a community-wide involvement in helping people do the same thing we're doing here. You know, give them a hand up when they need a hand up. You know, help them learn skills that maybe they know that another person doesn't. And so what we're looking at is, I don't know if you want to call it a community case managers, or if you want to call it life coaches, or if you want to call it allies in health, or whatever you want to call it. That's what MCSA, that's one of our biggest priorities. We want to get people in here to help people and partner with them. Partner with another person and help them grow and change. You know, nobody learns from advice. The brain does not chemically change one iota from receiving advice. Where the brain changes is from relationship. And so we're asking the churches, the community members, the people who care, the people who are successful in one thing or another, to partner with somebody here at MCSA, or even somebody that is struggling in life, and to offer them the same kind of skills that they have, and do that over a long term, because it takes a long time for people to learn. And so that's another priority, is getting the community involved with the poverty and situation, because the question I ask myself is, you know, maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago, MCSA was a great place to raise a family. The question I would follow that up with is Muscatine still a great place to raise a family today? And then the third question would be, what about 10 years from now? Will Muscatine still be a great place to raise a family 10 years from now? You know, and if your answer is, well, it's a lot different than it was 10 years ago, it's gotten worse. Well, what do you think it's going to be 10 years from now? And the beauty of it is that as a community, we can change that. Without a community, there's no stopping it.
What are your hopes that will social benefit our party?
Well, my hope is that the two priorities we have, I hope your project helps us out with. The one priority of get community aware through brochures, through videos, through social networking, through web pages. That's how you get the word out. A lot of people don't have time to really go and visit places as much as they used to anymore. But how many times have people driven through the downtown area, driven by MCSA, and just wondered about the place without ever actually stopping in? Well, it's my hope that from what you're doing, people that will give them that impetus to move through the doors and just check the place out. You're welcome here anytime. People are welcome here to come here anytime. And if I'm around, or any of the staff around, we'll be happy to give you a tour of what we do and give you an understanding of what we do. So that's one thing, through the different ways of you using the media, that's one thing. And that leads to the second thing, is by getting the message out there that it's not too long. You know, Muscatine has problems, but they're not insurmountable if we all volunteer, if we all help, if we all coach or help or guide somebody through the development stage to a place where they can do it for themselves. You know, we only have 7 staff here for 100 beds. That is not enough people or enough time to be able to do the kind of transition that needs to be done. Not only the people here, but the people that may be coming in here in the future, or maybe the children of the people that may be coming in here, because it's mostly generational. By you getting the word out there, it's my hope that we'll move people out of their comfort zones. I just read a quote from Princess Diana that said, what does it say? If we comfort the afflicted, we have to afflict the comfortable. And so that's what I hope that you guys are going to do, is afflict the comfortable, because we've done great at comforting the afflicted. We get an A+ in comforting the afflicted. We have got a D in afflicting the comfortable, and that's what I hope that you guys are able to do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.